Does investing requires a lot of time? Many people have this notion that investing requires sitting down in front of the terminals and so on, and then trying to get share price, and then spend their time all day long, trying to figure out where the stock price will move. If you look at it from that aspect, that requires a lot of time. But the fortunate thing is that is not investing. That is guessing share price, that is speculating. If we move on to investing, so what is investing? Investing is simply buying a good asset at undervalued price and then let the asset work for us. Yeah, not guessing share price. So in order for us to understand whether how much time is required for us to invest, we have to ask ourselves, what kind of investors are we? For example, I've came across students who are lawyers, pilots, doctors. They are very busy. Yeah, if you want them to monitor share price, obviously they won't. They will prefer to choose to be a passive investor rather than an active investor. So what is a passive investor? One of the characteristics of a passive investor is they don't like to know about what's happening in the stock market. Yeah, so if you don't want to pay too much attention on the movement of share price and so on, you'll be best to buy a whole basket of good companies. Like what Warren Buffett say, he always recommend people to buy a very low cost S&P 500 index fund. So that's one good way to become a passive investor. And because you're buying a basket of stocks, you're not doing cherry picking individual stocks. Yeah, so you don't really have to spend a lot of time. So if you want to spend lesser time, it would be good to become a passive investor by buying a basket of stocks such as a very low cost S&P 500 index fund. But if you want to have higher return, you want to have a more superior return than S&P 500 index fund, so there is no other way out. You have to select individual stocks. But unfortunately, not everybody is suitable to do this because sometimes, not a lot of time, but sometimes to analyze a company, such as looking at its balance sheet, financial statements, cash flow statement and so on, understanding more about the business model and all this. So all this requires some time. But remember, it's not a full-time job. For example, if you ask anyone, what does McDonald's do? So it's actually not that bad. You briefly understand what McDonald's does for a living, or Starbucks, or SBS Transit and so on. But if you want to know more about companies that maybe you're not familiar with, such as maybe Tesla versus SBS Transit, then it requires more time to understand. So how much time you need to put in, it all depends on how much do you know about the company. The lesser you know, the more time is required. The more you know, the lesser time is required. And the best part about understanding a company is when a company does something, rarely their business model change. 10 years ago, McDonald's is selling burgers. Today, they're selling burgers. 10 years down the road, unlikely they're going to go and venture into electric vehicles and so on. So once you fully understood a business, which doesn't really require a lot of time, life will be much easier. Yeah, so that will be the path if you want to be an active investor. So for me, I'm actually a hybrid of both because my portfolio consists of ETFs, various sort ETFs, and I also do individual stock selection. So I'm a hybrid. So you don't have to be at too extreme. So if you want to know more whether are you more pro passive investing or are you suitable to be an individual stock picker, right? Please feel free to download any of our guidebooks found in the description below this video, or you can visit our website at www.valueinvestingacademy.com, where we have some of the best written articles that's being done so that you can know more about investing. And of course, the best way to learn, right, is really to meet up with me face to face. That's by registering at www.viamasterclass.com, and I sincerely look forward to seeing you in one of my masterclass. So see you soon.